do a short introduction. Right. So, yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your Excellency and teachers. Today, the purpose of today's meeting is to present Tenjichin Space Technologies Limited that deals with how we can be able to use satellite data services to curb some of the challenges when it comes to agriculture. So I think last year Her Excellency was part of the exhibition and she saw the things that Japan private space sector is doing. And Tenjichin is one of the companies that draw our attention on direct benefits of using satellite imagery data to help agricultural activities in Ghana. So Mr. Keitaro Asaba is, let me just give a short bio about him. Mr. Keito is the international business developer at Tenjichin Corporation, and he has 7 years of experience in consulting in project management, data analysis, and capacity building in international development. And he also has a lot of experience when it comes to regional project coordination and investment banking. And also when it comes to data analysis in the international market, he has more than 6 years experience. And I think he's a trilingual person. He can speak Japanese, French, and many other languages. So yes, he's here to, as I said, to share his company's activities and how Ghana, we can also grab some of the opportunities to help our farmers back home. So I think if HE will give me the permission, I will invite Mr. Asaba to start his presentation. Right, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Your Excellency, Mr. Kaite, Dr. Bensu, and Mr. Popo. It is my pleasure to be here amongst you this afternoon. So thank you so much for the introduction, Dr. Bensu. My name is Asaba, and I am a team member of our company, Tenjichin. And this afternoon, I present to you our company and our activities, hoping that it might lead to a common ground where we could share our values, and hopefully that there should be a ground where we could have a partnership. So without further ado, I would like to begin. So Tenjichin Incorporated, our mission is to be in harmony with Earth. So we use satellite data combined with AI technology, and we use that information to serve it for the good of humanity. And more specifically talking, we would like to find the right place to do the right thing, to run our business at the right or at the optimal location and under the optimal condition. And we believe that by doing so, without restricting our economic activities too much, we could still able to have a sustainable, more comfortable, and a friendly place to live on Earth. So that is our motto. So we do so so the question is, how do we do that? We have the so-called land evaluation engine. So we combine the power of satellite data and AI algorithm. By combining these two, we will target a specific region anywhere on Earth as long as there's no roof on top of that, so the AI can capture the images. We will subdivide that region into small meshes, and then we will be studying each mesh carefully using the power of AI, and then deriving it to a solution which would maximize our partners' performances by advising them where to conduct a certain type of activity. So how is this possible? We gather all and any type of data that is available to us coming from the satellite. And at the same time, we would also combine them, superpose them, embed them with data that we gather at ground level. We call that ground truth data. And then we also combine it with the expertise of our partners, of the people who are at the site, and as well as our consultants. So by combining all these three elements, we are able to create a unique algorithm that we incorporate in an engine that we call Tenchijin Compass. And then this Tenchijin Compass, we will give it to our client or to our partners so that they can use it at their own will. This Tenchijin Compass is easily accessible through internet. You can use it through Chrome or through Edge, any web browser that you name. It would be available, Safari. Now, our company name is Tenchijin, meaning the heaven, the earth, and the people. So why do we name as such? It's because we represent heaven. Not really, but anyway, we represent the satellite. I think I'll say sky. So we represent the satellite data. However, that data alone cannot accomplish too much. We also need the ground knowledge, the ground data, the wisdom of the people who live there, and also the people. Some data cannot be always gathered using automation, using machines. We need to go there. We need to collect some data on hand. And by combining these two, we would insert into our algorithm. And what the AI does, what the artificial intelligence does, is to learn from it. Once it starts learning from it, then it would, at one point, it would be able to estimate, forecast the future output. So on the ground, supposedly you're collecting some data from a field. Initially, it was costly, time-consuming, and labor-wise also. But then, once we start gathering that data, we implement into our AI. The AI will start learning. It will start predicting that data with all the surrounding data from below and from above. At one point, it will be able to predict at a very small error margin. And at that moment, we believe that cost-wise, again, time-wise and labor-wise, we can cut a lot of cost and still provide that data with very small error margin. And that's when we deploy that through the web browser so that our partner can use it, access at any time. Into details. Our evaluation engine. So on your left, you can see a huge area that we will cut into area meshes. Sorry, there's a typo. And this technology, we use it in infrastructure, also in the energy and agriculture industry. For each mesh, we can analyze that particular target subspace, and we can do time series analysis, we can do similar analysis with other regions. We could see the different physical and chemical properties of that region. This technology, we can use it in the sectors of infrastructure, urban planning, and agriculture. We started off as an agri-tech company. Our CEO, he's from the agricultural sector, and our COO, he's a JAXA personnel. So when the two met, that's when the needs met solution. Our CEO, Mr. Sakuraba, he was very concerned about how climate change was affecting the Japanese agricultural scene. So when he met with Mr. Shakusoku, who is our COO, that's when the problem met the solution. We started with agriculture, and then we developed the so-called Tenchijin Compass, the land evaluation engine. Keeping that same concept, we were able to penetrate into the areas of carbon infrastructure such as water leakage and renewable energy. In today's presentation, we would like to focus on agriculture. We have three different business models, three main solutions. One is to locate an optimal land for a specific crop. So if you have a piece of land, and if it's affected by, should it be climate change, should it be drought, should it be flooding, any reason, we have to reevaluate that land and see, maybe traditional farmers used to grow plantain or potato, or should it be rice or corn? Maybe that land is not suitable anymore due to climate change. Then we have to reevaluate that land. How can we do that with the limited information that we have? We will take that satellite, we will find another land anywhere else in the world. once we find that land and they have very similar properties, we'll visit that land and see what are growing over there. And then once we have that, we can see whether, well, we have our agricultural experts in our company who can advise these crops have been growing in that part of the world and it's very similar to your land. Why not try to grow these crops? Now, vice versa, we can also identify optimal crops for a given land. So if you have, that example was this. Going back to the left side, that is when you have a specific crop and you're looking for a land where you want to grow it. So if you have a vast territory and you have a piece of potato or a piece of tomato, you name it, and you don't know where to grow it, and within that area we will find one specific mesh where it would be ideal to grow that type of crop. On your far right, we also advise on pest and insect risk management. So here are some cases that we've worked on so far. So we've worked with a kiwi company called Zespri, so they're from New Zealand. So they are based in the southern hemisphere, but in the future they believe that some of the lands will not be appropriate to grow kiwi. So right now they're looking in the northern hemisphere where would be later on in the future would be appropriate to grow kiwi. So they came to Japan and they seeked our services, so we provided them. We took the island of Kyushu in the south. We evaluated every part of land based on their conditions, where it would be suitable or not. We colored them. We would take that area mesh, we would subdivide that into very small fields. So we would just keep on dividing that area into small pieces until we have a very specific field which we would evaluate, which we would rank, and where we would advise to our partners, this would be the ideal place to grow this type of kiwi fruit. We've done a project in Burkina Faso working with UNDP. So here, the issue was regarding the volatile weather and how the small-scale farmers were affected by them. So working with them, we've built a system working with their National Telecommunications Institute. We've combined our systems with theirs to provide weather forecasts, but very specific weather forecasts, not national, beforehand, so that the farmers could prevent or could take countermeasures to prevent from having agricultural damage. We've worked with dairy farms, so combining with our agricultural technique, with our partners, we've located different areas in Japan where it would be ideal to grow livestock, to raise livestock, and in parallel where we could grow grass, hay grass, I believe, that they can eat, and where it would be ideal to do both at the same time. We've worked with Japanese rice companies in the private sector. So Japan is very affected by climate change, as well as the depopulation of rice farmers. So we were trying to introduce new technologies and to be more efficient in growing rice. And here our role was to once again find the right spot within Japan by the Sea of Japan to grow a specific type of rice. And we were able to grow a new brand of high quality rice. So in Japan, there's this rice ranking system, and we were able to reach a higher rank. Now, that is all about agriculture. Now, very briefly about the other sectors. Always based on the same concept, we were able to find a method in estimating carbon emissions. Normally, this is done on ground, where you would take a sample from the gas emission source. You would take it to your lab. You will run a so-called GC analysis to see how much carbon dioxide is there, how much methane gas is there, so forth. It is very time-consuming, and it is a big turnoff in terms of financial incentives for farmers who wants to collectively work in reducing carbon emissions. However, it is very, very troublesome. So we've came up with a technology, and this is unique in the world. Right now, we're working on we're filing patent for this in capturing methane emissions from rice fields. So that is to your left, and to your right, we do conventional forest carbon dioxide emissions removal estimation. So with satellite information, we would estimate the heights, the heights, and the tree trunk size of a tree in vast areas, so to estimate how much carbon was removed. So this is a technology which is way cost-cutting compared to going on the ground and gathering it on your own. We also, using our agricultural expertise, we also have technologies in planting and intercropping. And this we won international awards. We built a system where if you have a piece of land, what would be, once again, what would be appropriate to grow there and how you grow. And if you grow in different trends, then that would allow the soil to recover, regenerate itself, and to capture more carbon dioxide. And it would be good for the crops themselves to grow healthily. It would be also good for not releasing the captured carbon. Moving on to the infrastructure sector, we've come up with a system where we can detect water leakage in urban areas. So a lot of the Japanese pipelines were built after the war in the 50s. So right now they're getting very old. We say that after 75 years, it is out of time. The time's very mature. We've been working with Toyota City in using their water pipe data, their repair history, combining with our optical and SAR data, with our SAR data. By combining these two, we were able to detect 60%, up to 60% of water leakage in a 100 meter by 100 meter mesh. We reduced survey cost by 60% and survey time by 80%. Right now, we are still in the phase of developing this system. It will be done next month, and then starting the next Japanese fiscal year, we'll be releasing it nationwide. We also work in the renewable energy sector. So we've worked with different wind farmers. We've located the areas where it would be ideal to build wind farms and wind farms here. So once again, climate change is a common issue for everybody in the world. There's no way to escape from this. It is damaging our crops. It is damaging the lives of our farmers, should you be in Ghana, in Japan, or in the US, anywhere in the world. So this is a common issue, and it is a global issue. And to solve global issues, we need a global perspective, and we believe satellite data is the key to offering us a global insight, hence in solving global issues. Lastly, but not least, our team members. Mr. Hyakusoku, once again, our CEO from the agriculture sector. Mr. Hyakusoku, our COO from JAXA. We also have our members who specializes in engineering, in AI, for example, in software engineering. Mr. Urabe and myself, we belong in the business sector. And we are about 40 people today. Yeah, so we are based in Tokyo. It's our 4th year. We've been winning national and international awards. That is it. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much. That's very interesting. Presentation, and I think you've said everything that is in my mind, because it will be very useful technology that can help Ghana. And as you mentioned about the infrastructure, it's also, tuned my mind to the current situation that some of the stakeholders from the private sector discussed with me recently about the Ghana oil and gas pipeline. Because where it's being connected to, it's very challenging for them to be able to use a physical team to be able to check whatever thing that is happening there. So one company called Kensel just had a meeting with me on how we can able to use satellites and other tools to be able to quickly get those kind of intelligence for them to be able to know what is actually happening at that particular region. So I think if you have the capabilities, I think that is also very awesome to also share with other stakeholders. So, the synthetic aperture satellites, is it the one JAXA has, or is you have a partnership with other private like Inspective or IQPS?
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
So not only with JAXA, but yes, especially with the private sector in the Western world.
I see.
And we have this partnership because well, you would know more than anyone else. So depending on our partner, so they have a limited amount of budget and they have their needs, they have their specificity, the resolution needs that they have. Based on that, we try to find the right price, the right data sets that would meet our clients' needs. So we try to have, we believe that we have one of the biggest satellite data networks in Japan as a private sector. So we're also based, one is Australia and Europe and the US, so we have our partners over there who would connect us with the satellite data providers.
So the floor is open for Q&A. Whatever question of interest.
Anyway, thank you very much. I'm very happy that after our first meeting during the exhibition, we have been able to set up this follow-up meeting because you were one of the companies which caught my attention when I visited the space. And the solutions you are providing for Burkina Faso is something that Ghana would also be able to make use of, and we would like you to provide us more education in that regard so that we see what kind of partnerships we can form going forward. And I also am very enthused about this particular infrastructure bit that you spoke about, being able to identify areas of leakages. With this kind of technology, it will be able to save us a lot of money and be able to tackle leakages in our old pipelines very quickly. So there's a lot of prospects that we could explore. One thing we are keen on as African countries is that businesses that are going to Africa should be represented in Africa and not be based in America or Europe to be working in Africa. So that is something we would like to discuss into detail with you. It's spoken to JETRO. JETRO is on board in encouraging Japanese startups like yourself in going to Ghana and Africa as a whole. JICA is in support of this initiative to encourage Japanese startups. So our interest in your company is not just a matter of staying in Japan and monitoring Ghana from the sky and connecting to the earth, but also to go further. And that would also allow us to learn from you. There are so many very ambitious Ghanaian youths who I'm sure could run courses for, even going to some of the schools to talk about what you do, be able to inspire the youth to go into sciences and see what they can do with science. So I think you can sit down now so that we can talk. And the journalist can stop his business, because